one of the best linebackers in the state of Pennsylvania and into the country, according to rivals and other sites, is interested in West Virginia. How interested? Well, we're going to talk with that individual today on Mountaineer Paul Talks Football right after the intro.
This is for Cameron.
What is up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you have landed yourself here again at Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Really exciting episode for you today, guys. Got one of the best players in the state of Pennsylvania and a school that has been really, really good to the Mountaineers and Alquippa. We're talking about Cameron Lindsey. This kid is a baller. This kid has had huge success there, state championships, 100 tackle seasons, 3 forced fumbles, sack. He's done it all. I broke down some of his tape, but for now, we're going to bring Cameron on to talk with. Cameron, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man. So, looking at it, you have been really a topic of conversation amongst a lot of big-time schools. You've been pursued by Notre Dame, Pitt, Syracuse, Maryland, Penn State, West Virginia. A lot of teams in the region that have been able to watch your school play at the highest level in Pennsylvania. How does that feel, man?
I would say it's definitely a great feeling. Whenever, I was younger, that's just always been a standard for us, is playing in big stages and big games like that. So having the lights on us at all times is something that, you just got to get used to.
And I got to tell you, man, I've tried to set this thing up a couple of times, and so I've had a chance to research some of your story. I think probably one of my favorite things about it is you're just such a team player, man. You're obviously one of the best players, if not the best player on a state championship team, and yet you still asked to go out on special teams, and you're the best player on the special teams unit as well. You get down the field first. You're a hitter. You got that hit stick. I mean, it's really impressive to see, in my opinion. A lot of times, the best players on teams, it's not selfish to try to preserve yourself, but yet you still go out and put yourself at risk for the team. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, coming from Alquippa, we usually aren't amongst the other schools where they got a lot more numbers than we do. So it's more common for us to have to play both sides of the ball, or pretty much on the field at all times. And Coach Mike and other coaches just asked me, like, do I want to go help on special teams? And I'll do whatever it takes to help our team go out there and get a win. So it's just something that here you just got to be able to sacrifice for your team.
So you've visited Notre Dame, Penn State, Syracuse, or are they just interested in you?
I have an offer, but I haven't visited.
Okay. The reason I'm asking all that is, so I always ask recruits this because I think it needs to be known nationally how good West Virginia's facilities are compared to other places. They stack up with the very best in the country.
Definitely. My first time coming to West Virginia, I would have, the way the facility is set up and all the stuff that they have in there, I honestly, they got some stuff that, you would think from a bigger school standpoint, they don't, you would assume they have it there, but they actually may not. And then West Virginia has some more top-notch stuff that a lot of bigger programs have. And this actually surprised me a lot whenever, my first time coming there, and then just seeing how great the facility is all around and how it just is helped around the players.
And I think that goes to show how much we care about the players in West Virginia. As you know, West Virginia and Arkansas are really the only 2 programs in the country that can say there's literally no other pro team. You can't find one in West Virginia. So you are the pro team. And so we invest into that. And we really care about the players in West Virginia on a different level than you can say, Penn State, they've got the Steelers, they've got the Eagles. I mean, you can go on and on and on about it. So it makes West Virginia a special place to play for, and you're always remembered whether you play or not at West Virginia. It's just one of the special things about it. Switching gears a little bit. So obviously, head coach Neil Brown has created a culture there that a lot of recruits kind of compared it to like a family type atmosphere. Is that something you've experienced, and is that something you were looking for?
In my recruiting journey, it's definitely been something that is super important to me because not only that I'll be away from that my home that I've been with for my entire life. I also got to be comfortable in a situation where I'll feel like home wherever that may be. And so with West Virginia, they've just been able to pretty much like make me feel comfortable, at their program. They've welcomed me with open arms. They shown a tremendous love, and I could not be thankful for. They're great people.
That's awesome to hear about the way your family has been treated. And we hear about this all the time. I get to talk with quite a few players that have come through here recently, and they really go out of their way to do it big for the players' families. And at West Virginia, we're very proud as far as tradition goes. Just saw the graphic again yesterday. West Virginia is the winningest program in NCAA history that hasn't got a chip. So we're constantly reminded of that. Neil is trying to build something special these last two recruiting classes. We got some of the best players in your state. How familiar you are with names like James Hurd Jr., Rodney Gallagher, guys like that, big time players, obviously coming from
Um,
that state to West Virginia.
well, I would say I probably know Rodney the most. My first time ever uh, me and or getting to know Rodney a little bit was probably we played them my sophomore year in our playoff game, and he was out there and he was just super quick. They had him at quarterback and just trying to get on the ball in open space and stuff like that. And at first he was causing us some trouble, really. Just how quick he was and able to just be decisive with the ball, like when to keep and whenever to give it. And so it was causing us some trouble. But after the game, I got to talk with him a little bit. And then I think the next day, this was before he had initially committed to West Virginia. I had seen him at Penn State for a game, and we got to chop it up a bit then.
That's awesome. So obviously, this is going to be a big year for Rodney. A lot of West Virginia fans have high expectations for him. You've seen him at quarterback. Obviously, he's transitioning to wide receiver. As a fellow big time player, do you think seamless transition for him? He's such a good athlete. Do you think he'll have any issue at all with that transition?
No, I think he'll be cool at receiver. That was I think before like the past 2 years, he always had played receiver. So I think he'll just naturally fit in at receiver. So I feel like once he gets his feet wet up there and just once a couple practices go by, he'll be smooth. So I'm looking forward to seeing him get out there.
We are too, man. We are too. But this is about you. I looked down there earlier today, and your dad. I think that was your dad. Uh,
Yeah, that was my dad.
Also, last name Lindsey had commented on one of my posts about you from a week or two ago.
Um, he's got pictures of you, and I think you might have a little brother as well. Um, Seems to be really proud of you guys. What does your dad think of this whole situation? Did he play ball or anything like that?
He did play. He's like me. We're just both so blessed to be in this situation, and then just having all this happen has just been super mind blowing in itself. Like, every offer, it feels like the first. Like I'm just super excited, and it's just a tremendous blessing that I could never regret or take for granted. But I'm just man, he's just super proud of me, and he'll be happy with whatever decision I decide to make, and as long as he feels comfortable for me, I'm okay with whatever he thinks. So.
That's great, man. I'm glad to hear that.
I would say we definitely have a great relationship. I mean, he's always been helping me with pointers, even in my high school game. If it's something that he's seen me do out there, he'll let me know, or we'll watch some film together and break down the game too. So we just always been close, and not only the recruiting standpoint, but just in general with trying to help better myself.
So, real quick, let's get into some of your game. I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your game. Um, I know you're a humble kid. You're coming across that way. Try not to be humble and be a little bit cocky. Where are you best at on the field? Like in my opinion, I like to break down tape myself. I seen you at the weak side linebacker spot and at the in the middle. You played both. I really like you on that weak side and that wheel spot personally. Gives you a lot of freedom. And man, you were laying from that wheel spot. You were laying the wood. In my opinion, that's your best attribute. Just generally, if you had a hit stick in real life, it would be that for you. Talk a little bit about what you think are your best attributes.
Yeah, like you said, I would say I think weak side because I feel like with my as the years went on, like from my sophomore year, I had to step up, a lot for my team, and I feel like when we made states and were winning and all that, I had some big plays in that playoff run that helped us a lot, and that's just from doing my job on weak side or even switching over to a strong side and just being able to come up and fill and just fill in the gaps and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll probably say weak side is probably my stronger suit just because I feel like I have a lot more freedom and, just roaming around and trying to find the ball and just make a play on it. I don't know. I feel like an easier position for me is like I always play running back, so it was always pretty natural to just run. And then once I get in open space, I feel like that's pretty easy too to me.
Okay, so you picked up on it easier. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh no, I've completely disrespected him. Didn't even consider running back. From what I saw on tape, you got two talented teammates that played alongside you in the running back room. Really, really good score. Really similar to what West Virginia's got going on right now, where they've got three or four guys they can give it to that are
Mhm.
legit. Not just by committee. Each one of y'all could be the guy somewhere.
No doubt. I feel like, that's what causes a lot of problems for teams is just, we got Tyke, he's just he came in as a freshman. We were down a lot at that position at the time and he just he stepped up and made a bunch of huge plays for us and he's pretty much taken over the job since and he's just not only he just continues to get better and just pushes himself every week. And then John Tracy, he's a human joystick. I mean,
Yeah.
you give him some open space, it's definitely hard to tackle him on the open field, and then he's definitely not afraid of contact. So, we both got two running backs that are definitely dominant in what they do and just how they run the ball, and it just causes a lot of problems for teams. And I feel like that's just they're just naturally gifted at that, and I feel like I'm happy for both of them because it helps us win as a team. So they're definitely two great players.
So, in my opinion, West Virginia has an incredible history with Alquippa players. You can talk about. I mean, the big one is Rayvon Askew Henry. But where we go, we can even go to Jaleel Fields, go to Quantel Rains. I mean, you guys have had player after player pipeline in to West Virginia and Morgantown. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with any of those players and the history of that school? And just, I mean, you guys have put out some really good players.
Jalil's our defensive line coach up here, so I get to talk to him a bunch. And whenever
Oh, okay.
I first actually got the offer from West Virginia, he was like, you should definitely take that trip. You might really like it down there. And he was just talking to me about it. And from he also gave me pointers from his recruiting standpoint because he was a pretty big time recruit when he was in high school also.
He
So
was.
he definitely helps me with that a lot. So I get to talk to him about, he tells me some stuff about West Virginia and then just from a recruitment standpoint. And then I used to watch Javon all the time and wanted to be like him when I was younger. Just seeing him run across the field, scoring touchdowns and catching interceptions every game. He was like a man character the way he was playing. So when I seen him at West Virginia, super cool. And then now, ever since he's been out, he's been like in the XFL and stuff, and he's just been like mentoring us younger guys and stuff like that.
That's awesome, man. I got to be honest. I'm extremely impressed with you. The history that you pay attention to, that you know about from your school. A lot of kids, you know, aren't that connected into the history of their school. Some kids just don't care as much. It is, and it's fine. It's not a knock on them, but as a nerd, I like to nerd out over stuff like that. Like I like to nerd out over the history of schools and players with universities, and especially West Virginia. And I like to break down tape, and I love all that stuff, man. So it seems like you're kind of in that vein as well. I'm not calling you a nerd like me, but
Nah, just from growing up, I've always been surrounded by football and just a bunch of great football players that I met throughout my life. So, I mean, it'd be crazy to not take, any type of knowledge that I could get from anybody that's been around.
what is it, if you could break it down for a university that might be watching this show or this video here, let's say Penn State, whoever you're looking at in West Virginia are looking at this right now, if you could verbalize it, what are the 2 or 3 biggest things that you need from them to secure a commitment from you?
I would definitely say, here at Alquippa, Coach Mike, our head coach, he's always pushing us to give 100% in practice, just like we would in the game. And I feel like that's also helped me because, like, in the drills, they transfer over to the game. So just being pushed every day to compete is something that I need for myself to just, become not only the best player that I can be, but I feel like if you're better for yourself, it'll help, the people around you, and they'll want to be just on your same level and want to be as great as you are and push yourself just as hard as you. So I feel like being pushed to that next level is something that's super important to me. Just being, understanding from a parent standpoint. I mean, you know, like I said, you always be home your entire life, and then college comes around, you're really on campus a bunch, and you really don't see your parents as much. So I would say probably just making it comfortable, so where both my parents and my family are cool with me, being at that school, and thankful for all the opportunities to be, close to home. I mean, I feel like you can never really go wrong with being near home.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And it's from somebody personally. I've lived away from home a lot in my life, on and off. Nothing does beat home. And really, there's so many good quality universities in your surrounding area. There's really no reason for you to have to go far anyway.
We got a lot of good questions, so feel like
Yeah,
I answered pretty
I
good.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was excited to get the interview in. I probably had 8, 9 people ask me because I posted about it because I thought we were going to do it a little sooner. A lot of people have been asking about you. People are excited about you, man. So I really appreciate Cam as he has joined us today, guys. Ask some questions below for Cameron, and if I can contact with him and get into contact with him later on, maybe this week or next week, I will try to relay one or two of those to him. Maybe we can get you an answer. Really appreciate that, guys. If you're not subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, we ask you to hit that subscribe button now. Hit those notifications. We have players, we have coaches, we have inside info here all the time when I'm allowed to release it. Don't forget to drop a comment below. Let's have a dialogue and start that thing. Tell me what you think about Cam. Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in a Mountaineer uniform, continuing that pipeline from Alquippa to Morgantown? And if you can't do any of that, we just ask that you like the video, guys. Really appreciate that, and really appreciate you, Cam, for coming on today, man. Really excited about your future, and we're going to follow you no matter where you end up.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, guys, this has been another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over. Cam and I are out.
This is for Cameron. Cam.